Hey guys, I'm Annie, and today I wanted to talk about mounts in World of Warcraft. As with any new expansion, we have a bunch of mounts to collect. Many of these are locked behind big meta achievement, renown grinds which are time gated, and other types of content that requires a full group to complete. In this video, I wanted to highlight the top 10 mounts that anyone can obtain, even going solo. Without wasting too much time, let's jump straight into it.
Have one on the house.
We'll start off the list with the easiest one, the Temperamental Skyclaw Secret Mount. For this mount, you simply need to collect 3 different types of dishes and hand it in to an NPC. Easy, right? You can buy all of these dishes straight up from the auction house if you want, or also spend some time yourself farming them, and it will probably take you roughly 1 to 2 hours. The foods that you need are Nolan's House Special, the Tuskar Jerky, and the Flash Frozen Meat, which can be found around here. Once you have all the dishes, you head over here to meet with Zon Wogi. You simply talk to him and he will give you the mount. Next up in our list, the second mount is the Magmashell. This is another really simple mount to get. The first thing you need is an empty Magmashell. You can buy this off the auction house, or if you prefer, you can head over to the Waking Shores just around this area and farm some lava slurpers who can drop this. Once you got the item, you head over to this area and look out for the empowered snail, which is chilling in the lava. Yeah, we're chilling in lava. Anyways, now comes the fun part. So in order to get this mount, you need to be channeling a 20-second cast while inside the lava. And yeah, the lava hurts. So we need a way to survive. For myself, as a warlock, I was able to pop my dark pack together with unending resolve and I made it through. For other classes, there's other types of abilities that you can use. Anything that reduces the damage taken is very helpful. Since the lava damage is health percentage based, increasing your stamina is not necessary. For other classes, I recommend abilities such as Cloak of Shadows, Anti-Magic Shell, Divine Shield, Aspect of the Turtle, basically any defensive or immunity that your class has. You need to remember to pop your ability before you start the cast, as you can't cancel it. Otherwise, you can always ask a healer to come help you by keeping you alive while you're in there. As a bonus shield, do remember that the dragon riding mounts have a talent that gives you a shield while flying, as you can see here. So what you can do is fly around, get your 10 stacks, and drop down and go straight inside the lava, so the first damage that your character takes is eating up through the shield instead of your health. For those lucky enough to have obtained the Everlasting Horn of Lava Swimming, this toy is really useful as it negates all the damage done by the lava. It's a very rare reward from finishing the Siege of Dragonbane Keep. I still don't have that toy and it's been many weeks, so I don't expect people to have it, but if you do, remember to use it. And after the 20 seconds of channeling the cast, you have your mount. The third mount on the list is the Stormhide Salamanther. This mount can be bought for 2000 elemental overflow, which is a currency that you can farm by killing mobs in primal invasions. There's always 2 primal invasions up, and to see which ones are up right now, you open your world maps and look out for these symbols. So in my case here, we have a wind invasion available in Ohn'ahra Plains and a fire invasion in Azure Span. It doesn't matter what kind of invasion it is, you simply go there and kill all the mobs until you have 2000 of the currency. If the invasion happens to finish while you're farming, you just wait for the next one to start. You can do this all on your own, and if there's other people farming, you have shared tags anyways, but if you want to save some time, it does help by LFGing to try and find some groups who are farming these currently. And there's no restriction on looting past group size, so you can feel free to be in a raid group as well. Once you have the currency, you head over to Valdrakken, to this area here, into this building, and you talk to Mithressa, who will sell the mount to you. Next in line is the Zenet Hatchling mount. This is a 100% drop mount, but it comes from a rare that is not always up. Zenet Avis found flying around this mountain in this area of Ohn'ahra Plains has a respawn timer of 2 to 8 hours. Killing it drops a guaranteed egg, which then a week later hatches into the mount. I do have a few tips for you guys if you want to farm this. These type of rares can usually be found spawning straight after shutdowns or resets, so looking out for those if you happen to be online at those times is recommended. Also, logging in at odd hours hours like late at night or really early morning can also be recommended, especially on low pop servers, or if you happen to have an ult on a low pop server, farm it on that character rather than your main. And the last tip is to check LFG, because sometimes people do list their rares on there just to help other people out. Yes, sometimes there's nice people out there. Another simple mount to get is Lizi's Reins. As simple as it may be though, it does require Renown 9 with Maruk Centaur, so do make sure you have that before you continue with this one. To start unlocking Lizi's Reins, you need to have completed the questline that starts with Initiate's Day Out. To check whether you've done this questline, I really recommend an add-on called BtWQuests, or By the Way Quests, I think is what it's called. I'm showing here on my paladin who hasn't completed the questline yet. I'm clicking through to Ohn'ahra Plains and find Initiate's Day Out to click it and see the full progression and see exactly where I ended. When I click the quest that I'm on, it adds a waypoint on the map, making it really simple for me to just get right back into it and complete the questline. Sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to see with exclamation marks for the quests that are available, but just mouse over and you should be able to spot it. You can also just simply follow the green arrow on your screen. Once this quest chain is done, you unlock the daily to tame a Thunderspine. You will need to do this daily 5 times, and every day there's a new set of items to hand in. All the items are available in the auction house and really cheap, so I'm not going to bother telling you how to farm it yourself, although you can if you really want to. You need 20 of the fluorescent fluid, 20 of the high fiber leaf, 10 of the 1000 byte piranha, and 20 of the woolly mountain pelt. And finally, for day 5, you're going to need to buy a quest item called the Maloon's Green Curry, which is sold by NPC Own Maloon over in this area of the map. Next up, mount number 6 is the Ivory Trader's Ottuk, a little otter. This mount needs 3 rings from 3 different Dragonflight dungeons. You don't need a pre-made or friends to help you, but I do recommend using the LFG dungeon system to search for a group to run the dungeon on normal mode, just to make the process a lot faster and easier. So the specific rings that you need are the Thunderous Downburst ring, which drops from the Raging Tempest in Noku Defensive, the Unstable Arcane Loop, which drops from Laymore, the first boss in Azure Vault, and Platinum Starband, which drops from Vexamus, the first boss in Algathar Academy. Another note is, if you haven't completed the dungeon quest for Algathar Academy, this ring is actually one of the reward options, so you could get it to progress your mount that way. The rings are personal loot and drops for any classes, any specs, and if someone else in your group happens to loot one, you can maybe send them a nice whisper and maybe they'll trade it to you. Once you have all the 3 rings, you head over to Tatu Kiyaka, who can be found over here in Iskara. You may notice the same vendor sells another mount, the Iskara Trader's Ottuk, for 2 necks from the Vault of the Incarnates. I didn't count this mount as easy yet, since raids are all on a weekly lockout and a lot of people are still getting these necks as upgrades, so it's not something that I really recommend people to farm for just yet. But if you do want to, then yes, these necks are available on all difficulties and you can feel free to run them on a weekly basis. Mount number 7 is the famous otter who can wear shades, just like your character. I hope you like fishing, because this mount requires hours of it. First things first, what we need is a gold coin of the Isles. In order to get this coin, we will need to trade in 5 silver coins or 75 copper coins, or a combination of the 2. These coins can be looted from regular fishing across the Dragon Isles, but the most efficient way that players have found is through lunker fishing, especially in a group. So again, while you can do this solo, it does speed things up a lot if you decide to group up instead. You can find lunker fishing groups in the LFG system, as people like to find more people to do it with, and because the process is quite long, it means each person is probably sitting and doing this for several hours. The idea is to get the ominous conches. By throwing the ominous conches into the water, you are spam spawning the lunkers that you can use your harpoon with to drag back to the shore and then loot for more conches, and also there's a chance to spawn some rares that can drop more stuff. You keep repeating this as the most efficient way to then get all of the coins as you need. It is also possible to loot a gold coin. Personally, I looted 1 silver and 60 coppers and went to the next step. So for this next step, we want to head over to the Great Swag, who can be found in this area. He's chilling in a cave and is selling a few different items. So first you want to do the correct trading to get your gold coin, and then you spend the gold coin to buy the Immaculate Sack of Swag Treasures. You open this item when it's in your bags, and that way get the Aquatic Shades, which is a toy which puts shades on your character, and eventually the other mount will have them too. With this in your possession, you head over to the ocean in the north of Obsidian Citadel, to just around this area under the water, and you're looking for a bar called the Bubble Bath. This bar has a little dance pad. You stand on the pad with your character and type /dance, which shows a debuff. So now you just sit and wait and watch your character dance for the next 5 minutes. As the debuff expires, your character gets teleported, and close to the character is a barrel that you want to click. Clicking this barrel then takes you to the next part of the progress. You thought you were done with fishing? There is more. The quest now is to fill this barrel, and there's 3 steps to it. The first step is to fish up 100 frigid flowfish, which is fishable in the open waters around Iskara. Once you got your 100, you right-click the barrel in your bag, and you're ready for step number 2. For the next step, you need 25 calamitous carps. These fish can be found around the lava areas of Obsidian Citadel. I did find one safe spot that doesn't pull any mobs just around this area here on top of a rock. But really any area of the lava works. Once you have 25, right-click the barrel again and you're ready for the last part. The final fish is of epic quality and is called Kingfin the Wise Whiskerfish. This fish can be found near Algathar Academy in this area right here as marked on the map. This fish is really rare, but you do only need one of them. So if it's taking some time, don't be discouraged, it's very normal, and I'm sure the next cast will be the one. And again, once you do loot it, don't forget to right-click the barrel, and with that, the barrel is now done. With the barrel filled up, we go back to where we first looted the barrel and right-click it in our bags. By doing that, we summon Otto, and he provides us with a quest, which gives us the mount. So the unique cool thing with the Otto is that before you mount it, you can put on the shades from the toy that you looted from the previous steps, and Otto will copy you and wear the same shades. Cool, huh? Next up, number 8, the Scrappy Worldsnail. For this mount, you must have completed the quest chain, The Shadow of His Wings. Again, we can make use of BtWQuests, the add-on that I talked about earlier, and here on my main character we can see that everything is green and completed. As I briefly mentioned before, if it's not green and completed for you, you simply click on the quest that you're on and the add-on will place a marker for you to know exactly where to go to pick up from where you've been last. Once the quests are done, you need to make sure that you've sided with either Rathian or Sibelian for the week, just for the weekly world quest to be activated. So make sure that you bring them a restored obsidian key. In this video here, I sided with Sibelian because I've already maxed my rep with Rathian, of course. Once you've done that, you've unlocked the ability to hand in keys to some other NPCs. Specifically for this case, we want to farm a key to hand in to Iggy's the Believer. He can be found just around here on the map. You hand in the key to get a box, which then has a 30% chance to give you the World Breaker membership. It took me 3 attempts to get it, so I was not particularly lucky, but if you're lucky, you may get it on your first try. You can see here in this video clip as well, me handing it in and getting nothing for it. For each time you fail to get the membership, you do of course need to farm a new key to hand in. Once you have the membership item and you click it, you get a buff which lasts for 2 days. However, very important is that if you die, the debuff goes away as well. So you need to keep safe and preferably only use the buff when you're ready to sit down and grind for a couple hours. Now that you have the buff, what you want to farm are Magmammoths, which will now drop from all the mobs in the Obsidian Citadel area, and you need to get 1,000 of them. Again, this is a case of you are able to solo this all on your own, even sharing tags with random people who may be in the area, but I do recommend using the LFG system to find a group who's already farming this, as you guys would be farming the same mobs. They do it for the keys, you'll get keys and Magmammoths. Being in a group can be extra safe since dying does lose you the buff, so if you're in a group you're less likely to die randomly to pulling too much, so there's definitely benefits, but it is possible to do it alone if you prefer. Once you have 1,000 Magmammoths and you still have your membership buff up, if you don't, you need to make sure to get one, You head over to this area and find dealer Vexil inside the cave. And then you simply buy the mount. Time for mount number 9, the Loyal Magmammoth. This is definitely one of the harder ones on my list, but I decided to include it since the previous one does give you a hefty amount of keys and reputation that you probably now have with Rathian and Sibelian. This mount requires you to be max reputation with both of them. It is farmable and not like renown grinds where you have to wait for the weekly reset, so it's definitely something that you can decide to go and grind on your own. So if you're not max rep, the first thing you want to do is go and spend all your keys, and if you aren't, you can go and grind in the same way that we did for the previous mount to make sure that we have the maximum reputation. There's also the weekly quests that you can make sure to do as well. Once you have both reputations maxed, you want to buy 2 items for 800 gold each from 2 different NPCs. You want to buy the Netherforged Lava-Proof Boots from Samia Inkling, as seen here on this video, and the Sturdy Obsidian Glasses from Lorena Bell, as you can see here. With these items, you head over to Arius Lightfingers, who's nearby, and trade in the items for the Magmammoth harness. Now you want to go find yourself a friendly tame Magmammoth. As you can see here, I'm flying straight to it right here in this area. And what you want to do is click the mammoth to ride it. If it's not clickable, what you have to do is kill the NPC, which is right next to it. Once you're riding it, you click the harness in your bags and voila, you got yourself a new mount. Last and final mount number 10, Divine Kiss of Ohn'ahra. This is arguably a very difficult mount to get, as it does require you to be renowned 25 with Maruk Centaur. I did decide to include it, as this reputation is technically farmable and not time-gated like a lot of the other ones, due to the hunts that are constantly up on the maps. What I did to speed up the process of getting this reputation was whenever I was not sitting by the computer, I parked my character wherever there's a hunt, because just being in the area is enough to gain the reputation for it, and especially the final step, which then gives you the bags with the extra tokens that you can hand in for reputation. I also saved a bunch of the tokens and only handed them in when the Dark Moon Fair reputation buff was up, so that's an option. And another thing that really speeds it up again is using the LFG tool, because there are hunting groups up, which makes the process a lot faster. Once you have Renown 25, you also need to make sure that you already have the Lizi's Reins mount, which we talked about earlier in the video. So make sure you have that quest chain done before you get started with this one. So, in order to get the Divine Kiss of Ohn'ahra, there's a few items that you need to prepare and get, and you can do these before hitting 25 Renown as well. You will need 3 Stolen Breaths of Ohn'ahra, which is an item that drops from the last boss from Nokkud Offensive. It drops from all difficulties except Mythic Plus, so I would recommend running it on normal and using the LFG system to get a group fast. The drop rate isn't the greatest, but it's not the rarest either, so you may need to run the dungeons quite a few times to get it. The second item on the list that you need is Essence of Awakening. This is a vendor item which you can buy for occasional sand, which is a common drop in this Thaldras's location over here. The vendor itself can be found in Ohn'ahran Plains around this area here. The last item you need is a tier 3 Exaltant Incense. Very important to make sure that it's a tier 3 version of this, and this can be crafted by alchemists, but if you're not one, no worries, you can just buy this off the auction house. After you've collected all the items that you need and also hit the requirements of Lizi's Reins and Renown 25 with Maruk Centaur, you can head over to Godoloto, found in this area. He will offer a quest called the Whispering Breeze, will be automatically completed with all of the items that you just collected. So all you have to do is follow the quest and hand it in. This mount is extra special because it's one of those mounts where your character turns into it rather than riding on top of it. So congratulations on having a very unique mount. And that's a wrap. Congratulations on your 10 new mounts. Let me know in the comments below if you already had some of these mounts and which ones. I'd be very interested to hear. And let me know if there's any other guides that you would want to see in the future. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!